my perception is that we're in a bubble, meaning that, again, this industry has changed as no other. And with that, for instance, talking about salaries, talking about job opportunities, talking about the projects and the challenges that we have in each project, it is something that 10 years ago you wouldn't have thought of. For instance, salaries, it's right now we're talking about 20 times greater salaries than what we had 10 years ago. It's crazy how things have changed, for good or bad. That's what it is right now. And why do I believe it's a bubble? Because it's definitely not gonna keep that pace for a long time. And my concern is that when it does break, what is it that we're gonna do? But that is something that you can look into the trends to see how things are changing. I definitely believe it is not going to disappear. But what we do as of today is definitely going to change.
Yeah, I totally. I mean, I feel like you were reading my mind as also. I have really similar thoughts about all those things. I mean,
It just
the last thing you mentioned, it's kind of scary in a sense
Mhm.
that we see the in terms of the market and the demand is becoming kind of so high or so hot in this exactly in this era in the last maybe few years and maybe in the next couple of years or who knows
Yeah,
how much it will
it
be
will
like
last.
that.
Yeah,
But yeah, you say, I mean, there's so much, maybe there is so much investment in this era or in these few years in that area. That's why salaries are increasing so much, and that's why everything is kind of it's a high demand uh, it's a
absolutely.
high demand thing right now. Everything involved to software, and it seems
Yeah,
that it could maintain for a while, but it could also be like a bubble, as you say.
yeah. I think we should be cautious about it.
Exactly. We should. I
I
mean,
can.
yeah, I do agree. Maybe we should take the advantage of all this trend, but as you said, be cautious. I totally agree.
Yeah, and I don't believe it's gonna disappear just like that, but I do believe it's gonna start. It's gonna change, and this is not something new. We have seen that behavior in the past few years. And what I'm referring with this is, or what I mean is, for instance, I've always said that for me as a software developer, it is harder to learn another industry, for instance, what a mathematician does or what a doctor does, than for them to learn how to code in a specific language. And that's why many languages have become so popular recently. For instance, Python. Python is a language that I believe has a small learning curve, and not only how efficient it is, but also how simple it is to learn. It makes that financial analysts want to learn to use it so that they can review data or big chunks of data, right? So it is easier for them to learn a coding language than it is for me to learn what is it that they do so that I can implement it in a specific language. And we have seen that behavior in the last few years. So that's what I mean when I say that the trend is changing. It is not, so software development is not going to be something generalistic in the next few years. I think it's becoming something more specialized and more specialized in the last few years, so that again, a physician, a mathematician, a doctor, an analyst, they can do their own code. So what is it for us? Well, I believe that for us, the next thing is to do or create the tools that they are going to have to use to make it simpler for them. So, I mean, those tools will have to exist. Those tools will have to be created. So I think that's the next step for us, to be able to build things that others can use. So we're switching to, for instance, you can see applications that can be created without a single line of code. Those no-code applications, you can see that, but those have to be developed by someone who knows uh, coding, right? And
Totally
eventually,
agree.
someone who knows the industry will be able to use those. So that's what I mean when things are changing. when I say things are changing. It's not that we're going to stop developing, but probably not anymore on those basic simple web APIs or web applications that are more uh, general, general purpose. That's what I mean.